I'm Lara Moon of Chilltown Yoga here in Jersey City. Happy International Day of Yoga and happy summer solstice. In honor of both those things, I want to share with you a supported version of Eagle Pose that I just learned, also known as Garudasana in Sanskrit. So I want to also show the poses that I use to prepare the preparatory poses, which are really helpful in opening the shoulders and the back of the shoulders and squeezing the hips together, so opening the back and the sacrum, because Eagle Pose squeezes together the front of the arms, the sacrum, the sternum rather, and then opens the back of the hips, the sacrum. So these poses will help with that, and it'll make the whole thing a lot nicer and easier. So let's start, I'm gonna start rather, with a sun salutation. A pretty basic one, starting with A. And I'll bring some modifications into it that will lead into the preparatory poses. And they're nothing major, a lunge, and then an arm pose. The arm pose will be a yin pose that will help open the back between the shoulder blades. This is a sun salutation I learned at Integral Yoga. They have a really nice practice for this. They don't go too fast, which is also nice. So I let everything start to settle before I come up and push the thigh away so that it can come out of the hip joint a little bit. And then once I have my balance here, then I'll open the arms up and look up for monkey. And then that lets the shoulders just elongate, breathe a bit. Also the sides of that body. And then I'm kind of come back down into the lunge and then press back into downward facing dog for 5 breaths. And the same thing on the opposite side. So I don't know about where you are, but here the summer solstice is very cloudy, but also very wet, rainy. So I guess that makes sense. The solstice is related to the water element. So although not the kind of bright sunny day that most people may want, it is fitting. We have the music of Jersey City in the background, the sirens. So inhale, reach out and up, look up. And then back down to the lunge. And I'm going to come back to standing forward bend, Uttanasana. And I'll take a few breaths here. Dive up, and Tadasana, mountain pose. I'm going to use another sun salutation to come down into the seated pose to open the hips. I just like to use the sun salutations as a vinyasa, a linking of the movement with the breath because that's how I learned it. And also it just feels more cohesive to me that way. So I'm gonna inhale the right leg way up and bend the knee, and then glide the body out into plank and bring this right leg down so the knee is towards the right wrist, almost as if I was gonna do pigeon. Then I'm gonna shimmy this right leg over towards the middle between the hands and bring the left leg behind, crossing the legs, and then sitting down between them. Boom. You can also come into that through hands and knees. So this is the bottom part of Gomukhasana, cow face pose. In yin, we call it shoelace. So this is, it's also the bottom part, seated version of Garudasana, where the legs are twisted together. The thighs, the thigh part anyway, the lower thighs, the lower part of the legs, the thighs. So make sure you're on both sitting bones. If you need to sit on a block or a blanket, that's a good choice too. And I just like to settle in a bit here and just see how the hips are. And then if everything is okay, I start to walk the upper body forward over the legs, and then just round the spine and let everything fold forward for 5 breaths. To come out, I walk my hands back towards my legs and press my upper body up. And notice how the hips are feeling. It's a big opening in the outer hips there. The piriformis is that little fan-shaped muscle. In the outer hips, it opens the legs out to the side. That can feel quite a bit intense in this pose. So then to come out, I come back to the starting position to shift the legs out, and then come back to downward facing dog for a breath. And then inhaling the left leg up, bending the knee, gliding forward, bringing the leg down. Just shimmying it over to the middle, bringing the right behind, crossing them, squeezing the thighs together, and then sitting back. And noticing there's quite a difference in each side of the body. Yeah, I'm much higher up on this left sitting bone than I was on the right. So no big deal. There's no pain going on. If there's pain going on, that's probably the only way you could do yoga wrong. You should always be comfortable. It should be enjoyable. So if there's pain, do something, change the motion of the body or the movement or the position so that there's not. Yeah, you don't want to hurt yourself. That's not the goal. The goal is to feel better. So make the spine nice and long and inhale. And exhale, fold. Walk the hands back towards the legs. Press the upper body up. And just notice how the hips are feeling. And come back to hands and knees. You can shift the hips around here. Make some circles if that feels good. And then tuck the toes, send the hips back to the heels for downward facing dog. One breath, breathe in. Breathe out. And then we're gonna do the arms, so we'll just come back down. And I'll show you the arms first from kneeling, but we're gonna be on the belly. So it's a yin pose, and yin yoga is deep stretching of the fascia, the connective tissue in the body. It's everywhere, the fascia, everywhere. That's a whole other long, involved story that I love to talk about, the fascia and yin yoga, for another day. But fascia responds to long, deeply held stretches. So we hold the stretches for quite a few minutes. I may not hold that. I'm not gonna hold it actually for several minutes here, because I want this video to fit on my page. So I'll just hold it probably for 10 breaths, this arm stretch, but you could hold it for a few minutes at a time. Or you can build up to that. It can be kind of tough to hold the stretches for minutes at a time if you're not used to that. So you'll be on your belly. The arms will be one in front of the other. It's kind of like that I Dream of Jeannie pose. And then you'll walk them away from one another. The palms can be face up. And the legs will be extended behind you, so tuck the toes under. Shift the upper body forward so the neck can clear the arms. You'll have a block right in front of you to rest your forehead on so you don't strangle yourself on your arms. And then there'll be some compression of the chest on top of the arms. And that's where the opening between the shoulder blades will happen. And then that's where the wrapping will become easier in Garudasana. So get down on the belly and bring the arms one in front of the other, bent at the elbow in front of the chest. Start to walk them away from one another to opposite sides of the mat. Turn the palms up. Make sure the block is in front. I guess you can't really see me, but I don't have a lot of room in back. Make sure the block is in front of you for your head. And then tuck your toes under, shift your body forward so the neck can clear the arms, and lay the head down, the forehead down on the block. And then untuck the toes and try and relax that low back, hip, and glute area, which tends to get really tight. It tends to hold all the tension when you're in this pose. So see if you can let that go and sink down for 10 breaths. Into the legs and feet, lift the upper body up, slide the arms back to center. You might want to just take a moment here, shift the shoulders around, move the head, the neck from side to side. That can be quite an intense posture if you're not used to it. And notice between the shoulder blades, that's quite a stretch back there. And then change the arms. The one that's in back comes in front. If you need to adjust where the block is or any part of your body, do that. Good. And then start to move the arms away to opposite sides of the mat. Turn the palms face up. Tuck the toes under. Shift the body forward. Lay the head on the block, and then untuck the toes, lay everything down, relax. for 10 breaths. Inhale, press into the feet, lift the upper body up, slide the arms back to center. And then just take a moment, relax the head, the neck. Turn the head from side to side. And then bring the hands beneath the shoulders. Press back into child's pose for just a few breaths. Bring the hands beneath the shoulders, press the upper body up. Now we're ready to do the supported version of Garudasana. So come to stand, grab a block, put it outside the left foot, right alongside. You can have a wall behind you in case your balance isn't happening today. Changes every day. And bring the hands to the waist. Weight shift all your weight into that left leg. Bend the knees a little bit. Come up onto the right toes. Bring that right leg over the left. Let the toes come onto the block. Squeeze the thighs together. Sink the hips back and down. Keep the chest elevated. Keep the torso nice and tall. When you can't go back and down anymore with the hips, then extend the arms parallel to one another. Cross the left over the right. Wrap them. Raise them up. Look up. And if you can't wrap them, just hug the shoulders. That's fine too. But whatever you choose, 8 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can, if you like, fold forward for a few more breaths. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, bring everything back up to vertical. And then release, fly apart in the shape of the letter X. Look up. Exhale, fold forward. Take hold of the ankles or the shins. Let the crown of the head move towards the earth. 3 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press into the feet. Bring the hands to the waist. Bring the spine back to vertical. Walk the feet closer together. Mountain pose. 1 breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do the other side. And change the block. Remember, each side of the body is different, especially the dominant side of the body. You might be stronger there. You might be more flexible or less flexible there. Bring the hands to the waist, bend the knees, weight shift all the weight into the right leg, come up onto the left toes. Cross the left leg over the right, squeeze the thighs together, press the toes into the block. Sink the hips back and down. Keep the torso tall, send the chest, the heart up towards the sky. Good. Extend the arms forward. Cross the right over the left or wrap them in a hug around the shoulders. If they're wrapped, raise them up towards the ceiling. Look up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fold forward. Whoops, I guess that was supposed to be 8. We'll take the extra 3 down here. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, bring everything back up to vertical. Release, fly apart. Exhale, fold. 1, 2, 3. Hands to waist, spine to vertical. Step back, mountain pose. 1 breath, breathe in. Breathe out. Great. I hope that went well for you. It's like a full body twist, Garudasana. And twists are detoxing. So they squeeze all the toxins out of the body, out of the tissues. And one of the themes of the solstice is detox, right? A cleansing, purifying water, cleaning us up, cleaning us out. So I was was thinking maybe I should do a fish pose, something more aquatic. But I just learned this one with the block, and I was so enamored of it, I really wanted to share it. So I'm glad that worked out. The twist, the water, the cleansing. It always works out. So I hope you like that and have a great summer. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. See you next time.